All right, so I realized about 3 days into my Lyme treatments that I really wanted to start video blogging, um, just everything I was doing, how I was feeling, and the treatment that I was receiving. And so I took notes every day, but I didn't start videos until day 3. And so I decided I was going to go back through and do a video off of my notes for day 1 and day 2, and just kind of post them on my YouTube channel because I had so many people asking me about how I was doing, what it was like, and I just wanted it all kind of in one place so y'all didn't have to scroll through like my Facebook page where I had been posting it before. So, my first day of Lyme treatments at the Biologix Center was Monday, May 4th, 2026. All right. So, this is after I had 5 years at least of symptoms from Lyme disease, and I've had other co-infections, some of them for much longer than that. And my symptoms were terrible. I had extreme fatigue, really hard to get through the day. If I didn't take a nap in the afternoon, I was falling asleep at the dinner table most nights. Really having to pace myself. There was a point where I was even afraid to leave the house with the kids and go to the park or go to the zoo because I was nervous that I was going to get a flare-up, and those were very debilitating, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get home and drive home with the kids. So it was very restrictive on my life and the lifestyle that I wanted to live. I just want to be a very active, adventurous person, and it was hard, really hard with Lyme. I also had pain and inflammation, especially like in my neck and my shoulders, which would cause like this chronic headache. I'd be on the couch multiple times a month, just unable to really function. And even on the days when I didn't have a terrible headache and I could function, I had this terrible brain fog. It felt like the world was coming at me 100 miles an hour, and I just couldn't keep up. And if my kids had a question, by mid-afternoon, I was like, guys, I can't answer any more questions. I can't solve any more problems. I was just physically, mentally, emotionally tapped out and unable to be fully present, which is not the life that I wanted to live. So yeah, that's where I was. Also, I was starting to get dizzy and just have like vertigo, which was not cool. It made me nervous to drive around and do things as well. So lots of really not fun symptoms. But when we got to the Biologics Center, I had flown in to the Nashville airport, and it just happened that the flight that I grabbed was late. It got in really late Sunday night. And then we got to the place we were staying, and my husband and I, we just crashed because we had to be up 6 hours later for my treatments Monday morning. So they had me come in, I think it was like 8 or 8:15 Monday morning, filled out some paperwork, paid for the treatments, and we used Care Credit, which is really helpful because it saved us on the transaction fees, and then it gave us, I don't know, like 6 months or something to pay off treatments without having interest. So that was really nice. We also did a fundraiser. Some people use GoFundMe. We used a thing called GiveSendGo.com because they don't charge extra fees like GoFundMe does. So just the transaction fees, because that's what the credit card companies charge anyhow. So anyway, so Monday morning I got there. I met the staff. They were super kind. They walked me through like all the inpatient paperwork. I think the hardest part that morning was that they had me, they wanted me to take a urine test for toxicity. And so they had given me a list of foods and things to avoid eating like up to 3 and 4 days before that. So that was difficult because I had to avoid fish and anything with preservatives, a certain list of fruits and vegetables. They sent it to me ahead of time. I knew what to do. But the hardest part was they wanted your urine sample to be like the first catch of the day, right? So I'm up at like 6 a.m. getting ready to go, and then my appointment's not till 8, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to pee so bad. So I just walked in and was like, can I do that real quick, because I'm gonna pee my pants. So they were great. They handed me the cup right away and let me go take care of that. Anyhow, so right after that, I met with my doctor. I had Dr. Hentish. She was fantastic. He just heard part of my story, pretty much everything I just told you right now about how I was feeling and the symptoms I was having and what I've tried, what worked, what didn't work, just to get an idea of where I was at. So he did a full body scan on me using the BES, which is the biospectral emission sequence testing, which is really cool. It's kind of like muscle testing, if you're familiar with that, but it's a lot more specific. So he called the muscle testing is great, but it's a little more rudimentary. So we did the full body scan, and he figured out that there was a connection. Like, he found some co-infections, which I knew was probably going to happen because with Lyme disease, it's usually not just Lyme, right? You have a lot of co-infections. So he found the cold sore thing, which I've had cold sores all my life. I got real sick when I was like in kindergarten and missed a whole month of school. At the time, I didn't have any cold sores. So it was cool that he, like, through the testing, found it and was like, oh yeah, you have this virus. Let's give you this stuff to take care of it. So the next day he gave me the it's called Phage Corp, induced native phage therapies. It's amazing little things. They're these tiny little glass vials that you take as prescribed, and that's been taking care of that for me, which is really cool. Let's see, he also found like some abnormal cell replication in one of my ovaries. So he sent me to go get an ultrasound just to check that out and to see what that was all about. So I ended up the next day going to get an ultrasound. And then I did some of the therapies. They have all kinds of therapies there on the other side. They have like the whole second floor of this beautiful building. So on the other side of the building, from like the doctors and the apothecary, they have like the power plate, the STA and oxygen machines. I did the beamer seat. I used the cranial electrotherapy stimulator. I used the small sauna. I had the cold laser treatment, or the Q laser, and then I used the head magnet. All of these things, like, they have like descriptions of them and videos of them on the Biologix website. So I would just encourage you to check out their website. They have some really great studies and case studies and just some good like scientific research on there as well that really helped me see, okay, yeah, this is actually going to work. Like, they've had so many thousands of people come through here and have healing. So even my body responses, like, I was feeling super tired from travel. We got home, or back to the place that we were staying after treatments, and I was just like, whew, I'm gonna go to sleep. So and that was kind of my first day there. Yeah, it was a full day, but it was really great to meet the doctor and kind of get a feel for some of the therapies I was going to be doing for the 2 weeks that I was going to be there.